Big announcement today. Slytherin and Matrix Games, along with Battlefront, announced a new combat mission. It's called Combat Mission Cold War. Nice title, I like it. And yeah, let's just dive right into it because I don't know nothing about it. And I'm like just diving into the details. It's set into the tipping point years of a conflict that gripped the world for 45 years between 1979 and 82. Both NATO and the Soviet Warsaw Pact militaries began to shift away from industrialized warfare of the 20th century and towards a modern digital battlefield of today. Cold War simulates several what-if conflict scenarios between the U.S. and Soviet forces, centered on the strategic fluid gap and environs in Western Germany. The game also simulates the early days of the U.S. National Training Center as U.S. forces began to rapidly transform away from Vietnam-era doctrine towards the revolutionary air-land battle concepts that would define warfare in the modern era. It truly was a transformational period in battlefield doctrine and revolutionary equipment for both the NATO and Warsaw Pact forces. Combat Mission Cold War is set in a period that features true peer versus peer forces facing off in what can be nail biting action. Combat Mission Cold War is intended to be a sandbox for experimentation. For example, how would a situation unfold when equipped with M3s or M1s in 1982 facing off against T80s? How about the same situation with M60A1s or M60A2s in 1979 against T64s or T62s? Combat Mission Cold War allows a player to do just that. For old timers who served during the Cold War, it was gratifying to actually play out many of the scenarios that were conjectured and trained during the late 70s to early 80s, or to refight battles at the National Training Center. Combat Mission Cold War provides those old timers and others and any others that are interested the opportunity to do just that. So, highlights. Provides the player the opportunity to take command of U.S. forces, centering on company, team, or battalion task force. Tactical formation include highly detailed, historically accurate organizations, equipment, modeling of weapon effects that is second to none within the wargaming industry. Highlights include full suite of error-accurate tanks, mechanized infantry fighting vehicles, including many not available in any other combat mission franchise: the M48, M60, the M150 TOW, the M1. In addition, it offers a full suite of aircraft effects modeled on legendary platforms such as the iconic US F-4 Phantom, A-7 Corsair. Coming back to combat mission are the first variants of the venerable A-10 Warthog and the F-16 Falcon, as well as the Army variants of the A-H Cobra. Interesting. MiG-2327, the Su-17, and the well-known Mi-24 series gunship. All right, so in Combat Mission Cold War, you're going to get 15 standalone scenarios set in the U.S. 5th and 7th Corps sectors of Western Germany. Scenarios range from small platoon-based battles to large battalion battles. I like that. I play more or less I would say the small to medium, not the large scale. It's too many units to control. 3 full-length campaigns. The NTC campaign, where you're going to be in the Mojave Desert, was established in 1982. The NTC campaign, National Training Center in California, Mojave Desert, was established in 1982, right at the end of Combat Mission's Cold War timeframe. The NTC campaign puts you in command of a U.S. Army company team as it begins its rotation and trial by simulated fire against a premier Soviet-style formation. U.S. West German campaign, set in the Fluida strategic corridor between Fluida and Hanu. U.S. campaign unfolds historically accurate maps as player takes charge of the 2nd Battalion, 28th Infantry Regiment in a race to stop the Soviet juggernaut. Soviet campaign, set north and east Fluida. The Soviet campaign follows the ride of the 120th Motor Rifle Regiment on the opening 48 hours of a fictional what-if West German invasion. All right, so let's take a look at these special features. This is going to be somewhat unique in the franchise. It covers a broader time period than many other combat mission-based games, with a view to eventually covering an even wider period. The aim is to provide the player with the broadest set of experiences and tools to build their own scenarios if they so wish. Includes new and reoccurring battlefield innovations such as the introduction of single and dual purpose improvised cluster munitions delivered by both air and artillery support. The early days of electronic warfare is also modeled, giving players a sense of the impact an encroaching digital age would have on warfare. Finally, Combat Mission Cold War is more of a clash of equipment and weapons, simulates a clash between command and control systems. The U.S. embracing maneuver warfare doctrine, while the Soviets favor mass and centrally controlled command systems. All right, interesting. All right, here's the Steam page here. Ooh, that looks nice. Ooh, that looks really nice. Gorgeous. Look at that. Look at the bloody textures on the deck right there. Wow. Wow. Yeah, these screenshots look a lot better than the ones I was looking at earlier. The previous ones looked not as high quality. Wow, look at that. Wow. I guess because they're probably zoomed out, that's why. Because when you're looking at it from this perspective, right, it looks very, I would say, blurry, right? Like, especially in the streets, the houses lack a lot of the detail. But then when you zoom in, like something like this, I mean, you can see like the trees, the actual like the bark on the trees and such, uh, the grass, the patches where there are no grass. I mean, just that detail is just beautiful. But these screenshots right here are absolutely gorgeous. Absolutely. I mean, wow. Mm, wow. Something like an image like that. Wow. All right. Hopefully 2021, right? So I think we just covered all this. Yeah. So hopefully it's going to be 2021. It's coming. This is going to be the first combat mission game that Battlefront is making that's going to have a simultaneous release across multiple platforms, right? On Steam, as well as Slytherin's site, and as well as their site. So this is pretty huge. We did see previous combat missions come to Steam, right? But those games have already initially been released, right? You have a Combat Mission Shock Force 2, games like that that are already initially been released. But this is the first game that is brand new and it's going to be coming out on Steam. So this by itself is historic. So I can't wait for this. It's going to be very interesting. I'm looking forward to actually throwing U.S. versus Soviet in West Germany. That's going to be very interesting. The Fluid Dog Gap, I'm actually very interested in that. I read a little bit about it, and I know how significant it was. So the one thing that I do hope that they do add in future games is air assets on the actual map, right? I do hope to see that. Uh, Normally in previous battle combat mission games, right, you would, put in an airstrike and, you would see, actually you wouldn't see the aircraft or anything. You would just see like the bombs being dropped. You also have audio, sounds and such like that, but you wouldn't actually see the aircraft. I would actually like to see the aircraft. That would be something for that I think they should add into the combat mission games. Hopefully, they will in the future. I'm sure you would have to make some changes to the engine, but I think it would be worth it. Overall, guys, I'm looking forward to this. So what I think this is right here, guys. This is the next IP, right? That Slytherin is announcing. There's supposed to be 4 new IPs this year, right? And one of them, right, is the Warhammer 40K. The second one, it's just going to be Combat Mission, I believe. So, because this is already an IP. And so this takes up that number 2 option. Now, there are 2 other games, I believe, now that they have not announced. One of them I know is being made by a Polish studio, and it's set for December 2021 release. That one hasn't been announced. And the third one, you have no idea what that one's about. So it's going to be interesting. All right, guys. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this, and I'll catch you in the next one. See you then.